This module will take you about 35 minutes to complete. Click on the forward arrow to get started. By the end of this module, you'll be able to identify proper use of restraint systems, identify how to reduce injury and damage when a collision is unavoidable, identify how to avoid fixed objects, identify how to protect the scene of a collision. Despite your best efforts, collisions can't always be avoided, so it's important to do what you can to keep yourself and your passengers safe in the vehicle. In this module, you'll learn how to use the restraint systems properly to protect all passengers. This includes identifying ways to proactively avoid or minimize injury and damage, avoiding fixed objects if a collision is unavoidable, and ensuring the collision scene is safe. Vehicles have many built-in safety features to keep you and your passengers safe while driving. In this module, we'll talk about seat belts, head restraints, and airbags. Let's start with the proper use of seat belts. Select the statements that reflect your beliefs about seatbelt use. Click Submit when you've finished. Seatbelts greatly reduce the number of serious injuries. Seatbelts prevent me from being thrown from the vehicle. Seatbelts will trap me inside a submerged vehicle. Seatbelts will help reduce internal injury. Great work! You seem to know how seatbelts can reduce injury during a collision. Seatbelts greatly reduce the number of serious injuries, prevent you from being thrown from the vehicle, will help reduce internal injury, will not prevent you from escaping from a submerged vehicle or a burning vehicle. As you watch this video, think about what types of injuries can be avoided by wearing a seatbelt. Click the play button at the bottom of the video.
While most of us have been conditioned to automatically put on our seatbelts, do we actually know why? While viewing the following video, determine how many crashes actually occur in a collision and why it is so important to continue to wear our seatbelts.
Every car crash actually involves 3 collisions. First, the vehicle hits an object. Next, the occupants hit the interior parts of the vehicle, such as the steering wheel or dash. Finally, the occupants' internal organs slam up against their skeletal structure. It is during this last collision that most injuries occur.
Fortunately, there is an easy way to reduce the damages of secondary collisions by using your seatbelt. Seatbelts are designed to prevent ejection and to slow the rate for which we move forward in a collision. This in turn reduces the chance that our bodies will come in contact with hard surfaces in the vehicle.
Seatbelts represent the single most effective thing you can do to prevent injury in a crash. Most drivers who don't wear their seatbelts have misconceptions of what will happen if they use them.
If my vehicle catches on fire or gets submerged in water, I'll be trapped in it.
Most people get stuck in burning or submerged cars because they are unconscious or killed instantly in a crash.
I believe that seatbelts can actually cause more injuries.
While seatbelts can cause bruises to the chest or hip bone, these contusions are minor compared to the injuries caused by going through a windshield.
Today's seatbelts are designed to provide enough slack while holding the body upright.
In this rollover simulation, you can see the potential damage to the unbelted occupants. Since they are buckled in, their risk of severe injury is substantially reduced.
Seatbelts help keep people safe. Alberta statistics show that drivers and passengers who don't wear seatbelts are injured 17.6% of the time, while seatbelt users are injured 6.8% of the time. By wearing seatbelts, you and your passengers dramatically reduce the possibility of injury. According to Alberta transportation statistics, people who wear seatbelts significantly reduce their chances of injury or death in a collision compared to those who fail to buckle up. Compare this to non-seatbelt users whose fatalities and major injuries are significantly higher. it pays to buckle up. Is this seatbelt adjusted correctly? Select the correct answer, then click Submit. Yes? No? Sorry, that's not the correct answer. A twisted seatbelt will not provide maximum protection and can actually cut your skin during a collision. The shoulder belt must fit over your chest and shoulder. The lap belt needs to fit low and snug over your hips. To properly secure your seatbelt, ensure it's not twisted. Always fasten your seatbelt before your vehicle moves, even if you're only driving for a few seconds. It's equally important for backseat passengers to wear a seatbelt as it is for front seat passengers. You can cause great harm to yourself and others if you're not buckled up. It's the driver's responsibility to make sure all passengers under the age of 16 wear seatbelts. Now let's talk about head restraints, why they're important, and how to adjust them to help prevent injury. The purpose of head restraints in a vehicle is to reduce the risk of whiplash. Whiplash is the most frequent injury in vehicle collisions. Over 70% of vehicles have adjustable head restraints, but as many as 90% of them aren't adjusted correctly for the person sitting in the seat. Which of the following images shows the correct way to adjust your head restraint? Select the correct answer, then click Submit. Ears above head restraint. Head tilted back and over head restraint. Top of ears aligned with middle of head restraint. That's right. The top of the ears should be aligned with the middle of the head restraint. To correctly adjust your head restraint, make sure the middle of the head restraint is aligned with the top of your ears. Aim for less than 10 centimeters or 4 inches between your head and the head restraint. Now let's talk about airbags and how they can protect you in a collision. Airbags don't replace seatbelts. When used with a seatbelt and head restraint, airbags provide additional safety and protection. Most vehicles have front airbags. Many new vehicles have curtain and side airbags for extra padding and protection. Maintain a 9 and 3 o'clock hand position on the steering wheel. This provides the best vehicle control and will ensure your hands are out of the way of the airbag if it deploys. Is the steering wheel in the image tilted correctly to reduce injury if an airbag is deployed? Select the correct answer, then click Submit. Yes or no? That's right. The image shows the steering wheel correctly adjusted toward the driver's chest. If tilted higher, the airbag will deploy toward the face and cause injury. Adjust your seat so that your chest is 25 centimeters from the steering wheel. If you're too close, the force of the airbag deploying could cause serious injury. In the first part of the module, we talked about restraint systems. Although you may have all these restraint systems in the vehicle, you, the driver, are the most important safety feature. Ultimately, you're responsible for using these safety features. In the next section, we'll discuss more strategies for reducing injury and damage if a collision is unavoidable. These strategies include using the SIPTE system, preparing for a collision, and avoiding fixed objects. In modules 3 and 6, we talked about the SIPTE system. If a collision is unavoidable, using this system can help you make a more informed decision to proactively reduce injury and damage. In the following section, you will learn how to proactively prepare for head-on, rear-end, and side impact collisions, with the goal of reducing injury. A vehicle has drifted into your lane and is about to hit you head-on. What should you do if a collision seems unavoidable? Select the correct answer or answers, then click Submit. Wait for the other driver to return to their lane. Steer towards something that absorbs impact. Steer away to reduce impact. Reduce speed quickly. That's right. You should use the following strategies to reduce damage and injury in a head-on collision. Attempt to steer towards something that absorbs impact, like a shrub. Attempt to steer away to reduce impact, rather than hit head-on. Try to reduce your speed quickly. You're stopped at an intersection and see that the vehicle behind you isn't slowing down. What should you do to minimize the damage if you're hit from behind? Select the correct answer or answers, then click Submit. Increase pressure on brake pedal. Brace yourself for impact by leaning forward. Press head firmly into head restraint. Select an escape route. That's right. You should use the following strategies to minimize injury and damage if you're hit from behind. Increase pressure on the brake pedal so you don't enter the intersection and hit another vehicle. Brace yourself by pressing your head firmly into your head restraint to reduce the risk of whiplash. Select an escape route to avoid or reduce the impact. You're proceeding through a controlled intersection when a car runs a red light and is about to hit you from the side. What should you do to minimize the damage? Select the correct answer or answers, then click Submit. Close your eyes and brace for impact. Steer away to reduce impact. Adjust speed so you're hit behind the rear wheels. Look for a way out. That's right. You should use the following strategies to reduce injury and damage during a side impact collision. Steer away to reduce the impact. Adjust speed so you're hit behind the rear wheels. Look for and select a way out if possible. Below are the ways to respond to the 3 collision types we discussed. Drag each image to the strategies for reducing injury and damage for that collision type. Correct answers will snap into place. Click Continue when you've finished. That's right. You matched the collision type to the correct strategies to reduce injury and damage. So far, we've discussed how to reduce injury when a collision is unavoidable. In this next section, we'll focus on avoiding fixed objects like rocks, trees, shrubs, power poles, or signs along the roadway. Imagine you're driving on a mountain road. You don't know that a landslide has just occurred up ahead, and you suddenly come upon a boulder in your lane. To reduce injury, avoid staring at the fixed object. Instead, look and steer in the direction you want to go. The oncoming red vehicle swerves into your lane. To avoid a head-on collision, you choose an escape route to the right. Which of the fixed objects would result in the least injury and damage if you collided with it? Select the correct answer, then click Submit. Power pole, lamp post, tree, shrub. Sorry, that's not the correct answer. Hitting a shrub would result in the least injury and damage, as it is a fixed object that will bend under pressure and absorb the impact. Here are a few key points from this section. Drag and drop the key messages on the right to the corresponding topics on the left. The correct answers will snap into place. Click Continue when you've finished. That's right. You've matched the 3 takeaway messages to their corresponding topics. So far, we've talked about options to minimize injury and damage when a collision is unavoidable. In this next section, we'll look at collision scene safety. You're involved in a collision with another vehicle. Both vehicles are badly damaged. What should you do to make the collision scene safe? Type your answer below, then click Submit. You should use hazard lights and place warning triangles on the ground. See the next slide for more information. It's important to alert other drivers that there's been a collision to help prevent further damage or injury. Start by turning on your hazard lights. In Module 7, we talked about including warning triangles and a vest in your emergency kit. To keep the collision scene safe, place warning triangles 30 meters in front of and behind the vehicle. Remember to stand clear of the collision scene. Apart from keeping the collision scene safe, give assistance where you can. If someone is seriously injured, call 911. Record driver's license, registration, and insurance information of the drivers involved. Contact information of witnesses and details of the collision. Take photos of the scene and any damage. Report collisions to law enforcement when required.
You're required by law to report a collision if anyone is injured or killed, if damage exceeds $5,000, if there is any damage to a traffic control device or public property, even if damage is less than $5,000.
You've completed Module 8. Well done. Click X in the upper right corner to exit the module and begin the module quiz.